The galaxy was shaking long before anyone understood why. Quiet trade routes suddenly went dark. Human colonies stopped answering calls. Space stations that once flashed bright with life became silent metal shells floating in the void. At first, the Terran Union believed it was a communication issue. Maybe a solar burst. Maybe a network failure. But when the third colony fell silent, the truth became clear. Someone was attacking humanity. Admiral Rhea Lawson stood at the center of Earth Command's war room, watching a wall of holograms displaying burning worlds and destroyed ships. Her officers rushed around her, but their panic only made the silence in her mind louder. Every few seconds, a new alert rang out. Another colony gone. Another fleet destroyed. Another emergency call cut short. Humanity had faced threats before, but nothing like this. This time, the enemy was not a single species. It was an alliance, 5 powerful alien empires who had one shared belief. Humanity had grown too fast. Too strong. Too unpredictable. The aliens had watched humans expand across the stars with fear and envy. Now they believed it was time to erase them. Rhea's eyes stopped on one hologram showing a planet named Hesperia, 3, a peaceful farming colony. Families were screaming, running from falling fire. Alien warships hovered in the clouds like metal vultures. A little girl calling for help. A father shielding his family. Then the footage ended with a flash. Rhea felt her heart twist, but she forced herself to stay steady. If she broke, the entire command would crumble. "Admiral," a young officer said with a shaking voice, "the enemy has reached Colony Belt 7. We have no ship strong enough to stop them." Rhea already knew that. Humanity's fleets were brave, but small. They were built for defense, not for a war against 5 empires. Even if every human ship fought together, they would still be outnumbered 10 to 1. Another officer called out, "Ma'am, incoming message from the outer colonies. They say their shields are failing. They need reinforcements immediately." Reinforcements. The word felt almost cruel. There were no reinforcements left. Many fleets had already fought to the last ship. Others were trapped behind enemy lines. Humanity was running out of options, and running out of time. A sudden loud alarm shook the room. "Priority distress signal," a technician shouted. "It's from Titan's Reach station." Rhea turned sharply. Titan's Reach was humanity's biggest trading hub. Millions lived there. If it fell, the rest of the colonies would collapse like dominoes. The screen switched to a live feed. Alien destroyers were firing non-stop, ripping apart human ships like paper. Explosions lit the black sky. The station's commander, an older man with a scar across his face, shouted over the sound of shaking metal. "This is Commander Hale. We cannot hold them, please, anyone, we need help. They are cutting through our hull." His image froze. Then it dissolved into static. The room fell painfully silent. Humanity was losing the war. Rhea closed her eyes for a brief second. She knew what she had to do, the last resort, the last hope, the last weapon humanity had never dared to use. A secret project. A ship that existed only in rumors. A name that older officers whispered but never confirmed. The U.S. Blackstar. Many believed it was a myth, a super warship built for a crisis so severe that normal fleets would be useless. It had never been deployed. No one outside the highest ranks had even seen it. But if it was ever needed, it was needed now. Rhea opened her eyes and spoke firmly. "Open the vault channel. Connect me to Blackstar Command." The officers froze. A few gasped. One whispered, "Admiral, are you sure?" Rhea nodded. "If we do nothing, humanity dies today." A deep, secure channel opened on the main hologram. For a moment, only darkness showed. Then a calm synthetic voice spoke. This is Astra 9, primary AI of the US Blackstar. Awaiting orders. The entire room stiffened. The legend was real. Rhea stepped closer to the screen. Her voice was steady, strong, full of determination. Astra 9, humanity is under attack. Entire colonies are falling. We need the Blackstar. There was a short pause, like the AI was thinking. Then Astra 9 said. Coordinates received. Activating all systems. The Blackstar is now deploying. Rhea exhaled sharply. Her officers looked at her with a mix of fear and hope. Far across the galaxy, a massive shadow moved from behind a dead moon. Engines the size of skyscrapers ignited. Metal plates shifted as the largest human warship ever built began to rise. A giant woke from its sleep. And the enemy had no idea what was coming. The US Blackstar moved through deep space like a silent giant waking from a long sleep. Its dark metal surface reflected the distant stars, and its engines hummed with a deep, powerful vibration that could be felt even through the hull. For years, the ship had remained hidden, waiting, watching, preparing. Now, for the first time, it was finally answering the call it was created for. Inside the Blackstar, Admiral Rhea Lawson stood on the command deck. The room was large, filled with glowing blue screens and soft pulsing lights. Crew members worked calmly, each trained for this exact moment. No shouting. No panic. The Blackstar was built for precision and focus. Astra 9, the ship's AI, appeared as a faint holographic figure beside Rhea. Its voice was calm and steady. All systems active. Weapons at full charge. Navigation locked onto the enemy invasion routes. Rhea nodded. How long until we reach Titan's reach? 6 minutes, Astra 9 replied. Enemy forces will be mid-assault when we arrive. Rhea's jaw tightened. Then we will change the battle the second we enter. She walked to the large forward window. Beyond it, the stars stretched endlessly. Somewhere out there, human families were praying for a miracle. Rhea felt the weight of those prayers on her shoulders. The Blackstar accelerated. Every human ship in the sector felt the shift in energy. Captains looked out their windows in shock as a wave of blue light streaked past them, faster than anything they had ever seen. Messages immediately filled the channels. What is that? Is that the Blackstar? It cannot be. That ship is only a legend. But the legend was very real. And it was coming. Meanwhile, the battle around Titan's Reach was getting worse by the second. The enemy alliance had surrounded the giant human station. Dozens of alien cruisers fired into its hull, tearing apart its outer layers. Human defense ships fought bravely but were heavily outnumbered. Captain Jules Carter, commander of the last surviving human destroyer in the area, shouted over the alarms. Divert power to shields. We can't take another hit. His crew scrambled. Sparks rained down as an enemy missile struck the left side of the ship. We are dying out here, one officer said under his breath. Not yet, Carter replied. We hold until our last breath. But deep inside, he knew the truth. They would not last another 5 minutes. The station was burning, their ships were falling, and no help was coming. Or so they thought. Suddenly, all scanners on the battlefield detected something huge entering real space. A bright tear in space formed above Titan's Reach, stretching wider and wider until the stars bent around it. Then it arrived. The US Blackstar emerged from the fold like a metal mountain, its engines roaring with a deep thunder that vibrated through every ship nearby. Enemy pilots screamed across their channels. What is that? That ship is too big. It cannot be human technology. Captain Carter stared at the massive silhouette in disbelief. By the stars, the Blackstar is real. The Blackstar's hull glowed with thousands of lights. Its weapon systems rotated into position. Its targeting sensors locked onto every enemy ship within range. Astra 9 announced calmly, enemy fleet size, 372 ships. Recommended action, demonstrate absolute force. Rhea nodded once. Fire. The Blackstar's primary cannon, the solar lance, charged with blinding energy. The light grew brighter and brighter until the entire front of the ship looked like a rising sun. Then it fired. A beam of pure white light cut across space, silent and deadly. Enemy cruisers did not explode, they simply vaporized, turning into clouds of ash and disappearing into the vacuum. Whole formations vanished in less than a second. Shockwaves pushed smaller ships off course. Enemy admirals watched their screens in horror as their fleets fell apart faster than they could comprehend. Retreat. Retreat now. No. Evade the beam. Impossible. It is tracking us. The Blackstar moved forward, unstoppable, calm, almost majestic. Captain Carter watched the destruction with wide eyes. Humanity, finally has a weapon that makes the galaxy listen. Rhea stood tall on the command deck, watching the battle shift completely in their favor. The enemy alliance had come expecting easy victory. Now they were witnessing human wrath. Admiral, Astra 9 said, enemy ships are scattering. Shall we pursue? Rhea answered without hesitation. Yes. Show them what happens when they attack humanity. The Blackstar turned toward the fleeing fleets, its weapons glowing once more. The galaxy finally understood, the humans were not done. Not broken. Not weak. They had only just begun to fight. The moment the US Blackstar fired its first solar lance, the battlefield changed. Before that shot, the enemy alliance believed they had already won. They thought humanity would beg, surrender, or try to hide. But now, watching their strongest cruisers turn into glowing dust in seconds, fear spread through their ranks like fire. Aboard the enemy flagship, the Velthor Dominion, Supreme Commander Akronol slammed his claws on the hologram table. His sharp eyes widened as he watched ship after ship collapse into nothing. What is this human monster? Akronol roared. How can a single vessel erase an entire formation? His officers avoided his gaze. No one had an answer. One young alien technician, trembling, whispered, Commander, their weapon is not based on any known energy signature. The beam is, rewriting matter. Akronol's throat tightened. Rewriting matter? Impossible. But the evidence was right in front of him. His proud armada, the largest the Dominion had ever deployed, was melting away like snow under a sun. He had underestimated humans. Everyone had. Near Titan's reach, the battle was turning into something the human defenders had never imagined. For hours they had fought with hopelessness, believing they were seconds away from death. But now, as the Blackstar's blazing white beam cut across the sky, the survivors felt something rising inside them. Hope. On the human destroyer Hawking's edge, Captain Jules Carter stood gripping the railing in disbelief. Look at that, just look, he whispered. His second-in-command wiped blood off her forehead. Sir, is it really on our side? Captain Carter laughed, a tired, relieved sound. It better be. Even if it is not, we could not stop it anyway. The Blackstar soared past their ship, engines burning a deep blue trail. Its massive shadow covered the Hawking's edge for a full 5 seconds. For that brief moment, Carter felt like a small boat passing under a mountain. Then the Blackstar accelerated toward the retreating enemy fleet. Inside the Blackstar's command deck, Admiral Rhea Lawson watched enemy ships scatter in every direction. Some tried to hide behind asteroids. Others broke formation and fled blindly into deep space. Most tried to launch counterattacks, but their shots hit the Blackstar's shields with no effect at all. Astra 9 evaluated everything in seconds. Admiral, enemy lines have collapsed. Morale levels indicate full panic. They no longer operate as an organized force. Good, Rhea replied quietly. Then we break them completely. The Blackstar's secondary weapons activated, hundreds of smaller cannons, missile bays, and railguns across its hull. They fired in perfect synchronization. Blue streaks, silver bolts, and guided energy shots filled the void like a storm. The enemy fleet was overwhelmed. A destroyer tried to flee. The Blackstar tracked it, fired one precision rail shot, and tore it apart. A bomber squadron attempted to approach from below. The Blackstar deployed anti-fighter drones that sliced through them in seconds. A heavy carrier moved to the far edge of the battlefield to escape. The Blackstar shifted its course and fired a localized pulse. The carrier's engines overloaded, and the ship exploded in a silent flash. The galaxy had never seen a warship fight like this. Back on the enemy flagship, Akronol stared at the destruction with a cold, sinking feeling in his chest. His alliance, 5 empires strong, had planned this war for years. They had expected humans to fall quickly. They believed humanity was soft, emotional, and scattered. But now he understood the truth. Humans were dangerous because they only fought hardest when cornered. Akronol turned to his officers, voice trembling. Send a message to all allied ships, full retreat. Commander, the other empires will not like this. They can discuss their feelings later. Akronol snapped. If we do not flee, there will be no ships left to command. The retreat had already begun, but the Blackstar was not finished. Admiral, Astra, 9 said, should we let them leave? Rhea looked at the fleeing fleets. Part of her wanted to chase every one of them. They had killed millions. They had burned colonies. They had shown no mercy. But she also knew the Blackstar had another purpose, to end wars by making enemies too afraid to ever start another. No, Rhea finally said. Let those who run witness our power. Their fear will do half the work for us. Astra, 9 processed that. Understood. Shall we focus on the remaining assault groups around Titan's Reach? Yes, Rhea said. Protect our people first. The Blackstar turned back toward the burning station. Its cannons fired again. Within minutes, every alien ship near Titan's Reach was gone. No survivors. But for humanity, survivors meant hope. The Blackstar had given them that hope again. And the enemy now understood something terrifying. They had awakened a human giant, and it would not sleep aga. They had awakened a human giant, and it would not sleep again. The battlefield around Titan's Reach slowly grew quiet. Not peaceful, just quiet in the way storms often calm before anyone understands the full damage done. Human ships drifted like wounded animals, fires still burning across broken hulls. Debris floated everywhere. But for the first time in hours, no enemy shots were incoming. It was the first breath of safety humanity had felt since the attack began. And it was because of one ship. The U.S. Blackstar hovered above Titan's Reach like a guardian made of steel and starlight. Its surface glowed with soft energy pulses, cooling down from the intense fight. Damage reports showed the impossible. The Blackstar had lost 0 systems. Shields still strong. Weapons still charged. Crew unharmed. Admiral Rhea Lawson stood at the main window, quietly watching the battlefield. She had seen many wars, but nothing like this. The Blackstar was not a weapon, it was a message. A loud, clear message written across the galaxy in fire. Admiral, Astra, 9 said, appearing beside her as a blue hologram, enemy presence in this sector has dropped to 0. All hostile signatures are gone. Rhea nodded. What about Titan's Reach? Survivors detected. Thousands. Many wounded. Station structure at 30% stability. Prepare rescue teams. And open a channel to all human fleets. Astra, 9 blinked. Channel open. Rhea stepped forward. Her voice was calm, but every human across the nearby sectors felt something strong when she spoke. This is Admiral Lawson of the Blackstar. The enemy assault has been defeated. Titan's reach is secure. Humanity still stands. From broken ships, damaged stations, and drifting wrecks, cheers rose. Weak, tired, but full of life. Soldiers cried. Civilians hugged whatever was near. The fear that had filled the last hours melted away, replaced with something that had nearly died. Faith in survival. But far across the stars, the enemy alliance was not celebrating. In a hidden war council room, the leaders of the 5 alien empires gathered. Their holograms flickered with panic. None of them had expected defeat. None expected one human ship to tear apart their combined fleets. Humans hid this Blackstar from us, one alien shouted. This is a violation of interstellar law, cried another. No, a third commander whispered, shaking, this is a warning. The room fell silent. Humanity wants us to think before we ever attack them again, the commander continued. They want us to understand that if they build one Blackstar, they can build 10. No one argued. For the first time, the 5 empires feared the same enemy. They feared humans. Back at Titan's Reach, human rescue ships flew in and out of the station, carrying survivors to safety. Among them was Captain Jules Carter. His ship, the Hawking's Edge, had suffered heavy damage. Half the hull was gone. The engines were melted. But he and his crew were alive. As Carter stepped onto a transport ship, he looked up at the Blackstar, shining like a metal star in the distance. That thing saved us, his officer whispered. Carter nodded slowly. No, the people on it saved us. Humans built it. Humans commanded it. Humans fought for us. Remember that. And he meant it. The Blackstar was powerful, yes, but its true force came from the spirit inside it. On the Blackstar's command deck, Astra 9 updated Rhea again. Admiral, we are receiving thousands of transmissions. Messages of thanks. Reports of retreating enemy fleets. Requests for immediate military support. Rhea took a deep breath. One thing at a time. First, we heal our people. Then we rebuild. Astra 9 flickered. Admiral, there is one more message. It is from Earth itself. High Council priority. Put it through. A tall hologram of the Terran High Council chairperson appeared. His voice shook slightly, not from fear, but from awe. Admiral Lawson, on behalf of all of humanity, thank you. The Blackstar has changed everything. Our colonies are calling you a miracle. Some are calling you humanity's shield. You and your crew have saved billions. Rhea did not smile. She did not celebrate. She only nodded respectfully. We did our duty, she said. This ship exists for one reason, to protect humanity. And you have done that, the chairperson replied. We will need you again soon. The Alliance will not forget today, and neither will we. The hologram faded. Rhea turned back to Astra 9. Set a course, she ordered quietly. We will move from colony to colony, show our presence, give our people confidence. And the enemy? Astra 9 asked. Rhea looked out at the stars, endless, cold, waiting. They will think twice before attacking us again, she said. The Blackstar has shown them what humanity truly is. Astra 9 paused. And what is humanity, Admiral? Rhea's voice was calm, but powerful. Humanity is the species that never stops.